Let me begin with something that may surprise you. You were never meant to read. The fact that you are reading these words right now is one of the most extraordinary achievements of the human brain. When you clicked on this video, millions of neural connections activated instantly. Circuits that allow you to see shapes. Circuits that allow you to hear inner speech. Circuits that connect sound, meaning, memory, and imagination. But here's what makes it remarkable. None of those circuits evolved for reading. We often think of reading as natural. After all, we speak naturally. We listen naturally. Language feels automatic. So surely reading must be natural too. It is not. From an evolutionary perspective, writing is incredibly new. The earliest known writing systems appeared around 3300 BC. Around the same time, Egyptian hieroglyphics emerged. 5,000 years may sound like a long time. In evolutionary terms, it is nothing. The human brain did not have enough time to develop a special reading organ. So it did something brilliant. It adapted. To read, the brain repurposes older systems that were designed for survival. Visual areas that once recognized faces now recognize letters. Language centers that once processed spoken words now decode written symbols. Attention networks stabilize the process. Memory weaves everything together. Reading is not a single ability. It is teamwork across the entire brain. Scientists now know that reading activates all 4 lobes of the cortex. It changes patterns of brain activity. It strengthens connectivity. It literally reshapes neural structure over time. When a child learns to read, their brain is physically transformed. That is not poetic language. That is biological fact. But something even more fascinating happens. The language you read shapes the way your brain builds its reading network. Consider Chinese writing. It is a logographic system. Each character represents a word or concept. It depends heavily on visual memory and spatial recognition. Alphabet-based languages like English rely more strongly on linking letters to sounds. Brain imaging studies show that different systems emphasize different regions of the brain. In fact, there was a bilingual patient fluent in both Chinese and English who suffered a massive stroke. Afterward, he lost the ability to read Chinese. Yet his ability to read English remained intact. 2 languages, 2 partially distinct reading circuits. The brain had built different neural pathways to support each system. Think about that. Reading is not only learned, it is constructed differently depending on the structure of the language. Now, let us move from mechanics to meaning. When you read deeply, something profound happens inside you. You begin to feel what characters feel. You sense tension in your body when the story becomes intense. You may experience discomfort when a character suffers. That reaction is not imaginary. The anterior insula, a region associated with physical sensations like nausea and pain, is also involved in empathy. When we read stories, our brain simulates experience. Deep reading exercises empathy. It strengthens our capacity to understand others. And that has enormous implications. Because when individuals read deeply, they expand their perspective. When many individuals expand their perspective, societies become more thoughtful. Reading changes brains. Change brains, change culture. But here is where leadership becomes important. Technology is reshaping how we read. Today, much of our reading happens on screens. Phones, tablets, laptops. Notifications interrupt us. Messages appear. Content scrolls endlessly. We skim, we jump, we scan. Research suggests that when we skim constantly, we process information differently. We become more susceptible to misinformation. We extract fragments rather than build deep understanding. Deep reading requires sustained attention, and sustained attention requires discipline. Some studies indicate that early and excessive digital exposure in children may affect attentional executive functioning. 8-year-old children with high levels of early digital exposure have shown differences in later academic performance measures. The more constantly stimulated the brain becomes, the harder it is to tolerate stillness. And yet stillness is where reflection grows. This is not an argument against technology. Digital tools can educate. Carefully structured screen time can be beneficial. The real question is depth. Are we cultivating the deep reading brain, or are we training for speed alone? Critical thinking depends on the ability to slow down and analyze. Healthy democracies depend on citizens capable of reflection. When reading becomes purely reactive, depth suffers. When depth suffers, discernment weakens. But here is the encouraging truth. The brain remains adaptable. Neuroplasticity does not disappear in adulthood. The same brain that improvised thousands of years ago to learn reading can strengthen deep circuits today. What we repeat, we reinforce. If we choose scrolling, we reinforce rapid switching. If we choose deep reading, we reinforce sustained attention and empathy. Parents and educators play an extraordinary role here. When children see adults reading, loving books, engaging with ideas deeply, they model that behavior. Reading aloud, discussing ideas, making space for quiet. These are simple acts, but they build powerful neural architecture. The power of deep reading is fundamental to who we are. When we read deeply, we are not just absorbing information. We are strengthening patience, reflection, imagination, empathy, and those qualities extend beyond individual success. They shape communities. They shape leadership. They shape the future. You were never designed to read. Your brain had to innovate. It had to borrow circuits and build connections evolution never specifically planned for. That innovation has shaped civilization. Now we stand at another turning point. The question is not whether we will continue reading. The question is how we will read. Will we protect the deep reading brain that builds critical thought and empathy? Or will we unintentionally narrow it through constant fragmentation? Every time you sit with a text and focus deeply, you reinforce something powerful. You shape your brain. You shape who you are becoming. And when enough people choose depth over distraction, societies become wiser. Reading is not merely a skill. It is a responsibility. Because when we change the way we read, we change the way we think. And when we change the way we think, we change the future we are capable of building. So continue reading. Not because it is easy, not because it is automatic, but because it is one of the most powerful ways to shape the mind you carry and the world you influence.